Hello everyone, welcome to Create a Sauce. I have taken a 30-day challenge where I'll recreate YouTube thumbnails which look complex to design. Actually, they look complex to design but are very easy to design. So, in this series, I'll focus on that how to easily recreate any thumbnail using Figma. So, I'll be using Figma. You can use application of your choice. It will be very simple. So, for this thumbnail today, which we are recreating, this thumbnail only requires one thing, which is a person. So I have already downloaded one man's photo. This photo is by Dimitri Bekorko on Unsplash. So let's start creating. What I'll do is I'll quickly create a frame. The frame should be of the size of a YouTube thumbnail. So ideally the size is 1280 by 720, but we will make it something bigger, like 1920 by height will be 1080 pixels. This is a frame. Let's rename it to day 1. Now let's add this man inside this frame. Let's center it. Okay, let's resize it a bit. Yep, this looks good. But let me resize it a bit more. Okay, now this looks good. Now let me remove the background. Okay, because I don't need the background. Behind the background, this curve graph will come, right? So I'll remove the background from right clicking, plugins, remove BG and run. For using remove BG, you need to hit the API key or you can use the site remove.bg. Anyone can do. So I'm using it directly in Figma. You can remove the BG using this site and then import it again in Figma. So the background is removed. Now what I'll do is on the left hand side, I can see everything which I have imported. So let me lock this layer and let's recreate this graph. Okay. So for that, I'll use the pen tool and I'll randomly draw an arrow, something like this, 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 clicking here and clicking here and here. Now this looks good, but we need curve all over here. So what I'll do is I'll curve everything in this graph. Let me curve this. Let me curve it a bit more. Let me curve it here too. Now let's make this curve a little bit smooth. Yep, and this one a little bit. Yes. And I think we need one more point somewhere over here or here. Let me add a point quickly. Okay, I can add a point from here. Yep. Now let's curve this point. Sorry. Okay, this thing is now curved. Right. Now let's curve this point over here. This point, something like this. And we'll curve it something like this. Yes, and this one will be curved like this. Yes, now our graph is ready. Let's increase its stroke weight to somewhat. Okay, so the graph is not visible because it's outside the frame. See the frame, inside the frame, there is only one thing, which is our image. The vector is outside of the image. sorry, the frame. Let's move it inside the frame like this. Let's center it. Now let's increase the weight a little bit more. 10 will do. Let's move this vector behind the man. Now this looks good. Let me move it a little bit upward. Yep, this looks good. Now we need some arrows, right? So let us create an arrow. Arrow will require some trial and error, but that will do. We'll take the pencil tool and just draw an arrow randomly. Yep, this looks good. So what I'll do is to add that arrow mark, what I can do is in this endpoint, I'll just add an arrow and increase its weight to 6. Yes, 6 looks good. Now let us add another arrow somewhere, or let us copy this arrow only and rotate it a little bit. But all we can do is use this arrow for here. Okay. Now let us create a circle. Let me create a circle. Okay. Let's try a circle again. This one looks a little bit good. Let's just resize it to some smaller circle. Yep. And the weight is 6. It's okay. Or I should increase the weight to something similar to 10. Okay, 10 is the same as this, so we'll make it 10. Let's make this one 10 too. Okay. Now we have this circle, but I'll need one more. So what I'll do is I'll just copy it and let's change its orientation. Okay, so this one looks like this is some other circle, right? Now we need icons. We need some icons. So what are we gonna do is we can add plugins. We can use plugins. So I recently used Iconify. I will use it again. So Iconify is a collection of icons, right? It provides you icon from various sources. So it's easier to search for icons over here. Let's search for something like magic. Let's see what it returns. Okay, this one can work. Let's import it as a frame. Let's search for another icon. Let's search for trim. Okay, so trim is not what I expected. So let's search for cut. Okay, this one will do. We can import it as a frame. Let's search for one more. Let's search for video. Or let's search for production. Production is it's going in the terms of programming language. So cannot do that. Let's search for something like hook. We can add a hook. Let's search for arrow. We have many kinds of arrows, but we aren't finding that arrow. Let's search for cursor, by the way. Yeah, cursor will do. This one looks good. Let's import it. Okay, now we have enough icons, I think so. Let me just, okay. Let's remove all these icons from the frames and then we'll import them in our frame. Let's delete the individual frames and let's move them inside our frame. Increase the sizes. Now let's add a hook over here because hook starts at the video. You know, when a video starts, you have to hook the viewer, right? So this is that hook. I think the original creator has added it for that purpose only. So the size looks good. Pop-up. Let me add something over here. This trim or cut part maybe. Yes, let's add it over here. And let's increase its weight to 10 and decreasing its size. Okay, so we should decrease the weight. What we can do is we can add it somewhere over here. Let's add this arrow over here, decrease its size, and the magic icon is perfect over here. I'll just resize it and put it over here. Okay. So our graph is also ready with the icons. Let me just group these icons because we have to color them individually. So I'll just click them all and let's group it. So one group and this one individual vector. Okay. Now let's first color the frame. The frame is all black. Now let's select the vector and let's color it white. And let's now color all these icons which were there using the selection colors. We are going to give them red, or let's change their color to yellow, green, to blue. Okay, blue looks fine in our theme, so we are going with this color 00D 4FF. Now we have colors for our icons too. Now let's see what we can do to get these grids behind this man and this yellow flash. So what I'm going to do is quickly create a grid using line tool. Let's do it. Create a line. So the line is around 121 pixels away. Let's make it 100. Let me duplicate this line. So now this line is 100. Let me duplicate it until the end of our frame. Okay, the line is duplicated, but first of all, let me lock all these things. Okay, now let me copy this line and paste it again. Let's just rotate it. And let's take it up more. Yes. Let me delete these and select all of them. Let's increase the sizes up till our frame. Now let's select them. Okay, our frame is also selected. Let's deselect our frame and let's group them. Group selection. Now this is all a group. Let us flatten it too. So what flatten will do is it will create a single object. So the group is currently all the lines, all individual elements Figma is handling. So it will be heavy on our system. So that is why we are right clicking it and flattening it. So flattening it makes it a single object, which makes the software think like this is a single object. So the software don't need to keep all these individual items, the position and all the properties. The software won't store it, right? So now this is a single vector. Let me move it inside the frame. So now this is inside the frame and let it move us forward. Sorry, backwards. So now this is behind this man. Now what we'll do is just lock this vector. Sorry, not. Now what we want is, you can see this, there's dark part over here and then the grids are appearing in this circular manner, right? So we can do that using a rectangle. Let's create a rectangle of the size of the frame. So we'll create this rectangle with the size of this frame. And let's move this rectangle just above the grid vector. And now we'll color the rectangle as black. And let's change this to a gradient, but not a linear gradient. We'll use a radial gradient. Now I'm just move this black here and this gray over here. And let's change this grays color to this one, right? 00D4FF. Now what we'll do is we'll just lower the opacity of this color. As you can see, the grids are now appearing, but there is darker area around our frame. So what we can do is we can adjust this too using this. Yep, this looks better. Let us lower a bit more the opacity. 45 will do. Okay. Now our thumbnail is almost ready. Okay, let's lock this rectangle. And now let's unlock this man's. And let's click it. Go to effects. Let's add a shadow. But not any shadow. Let's add a shadow of this color. This will do. Let us increase the blur. As you can see, there's a glow appearing because of the shadow and because of the blur. So now it is glowing more. It's giving an effect like this. If I decrease the Y to 0, it will be at the perfect center of this image. And this is looking good. If I increase the opacity, the man will glow more, but we don't want that. This looks perfect. Okay. The shadow is also done. Let me lock this object again. Now we need something like this, right? So what we can do is we can go to the pen tool again and we can draw something like this with the pen tool, but let's first decrease the weight. The weight is 10. We are going to need the weight as 1 only for pen tool. For drawing this object, let us do it quickly. Make something like this. Something like this. Randomly. Draw. Let's add a pointer here or here. Okay. And that random object is also ready, but this is only strokes. So we can add a fill to it. Let's add this blue color. Let's remove the stroke. And it is ready. Let us just quickly edit this. This one looks too much outside of the area. What I can do is I can click this. Okay. Now this looks good. Also, you can move these points a little bit inside, not this one, just these points. Now this looks good. Okay. Now we need the font and we won't add storytelling, right? I will use this one, this thumbnail as the thumbnail of this video. So probably if you have clicked this video, then you have seen this thumbnail, which I'm recreating it right now. So in all the 30-day challenges, whatever I'll create, I'll keep it as the thumbnail of that video. Okay. So now I'll add it's like this, design this, this. So the font is Inter and it is regular. Let's do it black. Let's add it somewhere over here. From 128, we'll just reduce the size to somewhat 110. Yes, 110 will look good. Let me center it. Okay, this is actually the center, but actual center is this one, which was earlier, but visually it is not the center, right? To our eyes, it seems like there is here, it is more space, but mathematically, from this point to here is the same as this point to here. But visually, the center is different. So this is the visual center which I'm currently adjusting. This one and this one. Sorry, not this one. This is the visual center which we humans perceive. So now this looks at the center and our design is ready. Do let me know in the comments how was the approach and did you like the design or not. And if you have any suggestions that any random thumbnail if you have in your mind, then please add it in the comment section, add the link of that video. I'll definitely recreate it in the next day or so. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.